Hello, good afternoon, or good evening actually. We're gonna get started here on our Sweat With Me workout. For today's workout, all you're going to need are a couple of dumbbells, a little bit of space. Make sure you have your water nearby, and shoes are optional. I personally choose to work out without shoes. It just helps me to feel the ground a little bit better, and I can really stabilize myself that way. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. We're gonna get started with a quick little warm up. And again, we're just going to do this kind of circuit style. And I'm gonna do my best to make sure that you guys can see my full body. So let's go ahead and get started with the warm up. So I'm just gonna have you do quick ankle taps. You're just going to rock your body, twist your trunk, and aim your hip to the opposite ankle as you're tapping here. And again, the goal here is just trying to get our muscles warmed up and ready for the workout and what's to come. All right, let's do one more on each side. Next, you're gonna come on up. You're gonna put your hands on either side of your head or by your ears. You're going to send your hips back. So you're gonna do a little bit of a hip hinge, like if you were to do a deadlift. You're really trying to open up your glutes as you push back, keeping your back in a neutral spine. Good, 3 more. Good, and 1 more here. Next, we're gonna go ahead and do some air squats. So we're just sitting it back down. And what I want you to think about as you're doing your air squat is that you're sitting back into it and that you're not scrunching the front half of your body so much that you feel limited by your hip flexors. You should be able to really get back down into it, keeping your chest up nice and tall throughout. Good. Let's do a couple more here. All right, and the next one that you're going to do is you're just going to imagine that you have a broomstick in front of you. You're going to bring it up and around and behind you, and then up and forward. So just like that, if you have a stick, a towel, even a TheraBand sometimes works pretty well, then you're going to go ahead and do that, holding onto that band or that stick, whatever it is. But if you don't have one, you're just going to do the motion like if you were tapping. All right, let's do 2 more here. Good. And last one, all the way back and all the way forward. All right, let me go ahead and get this started for us. I'm just gonna have some tunes in the background. It'll help to motivate us a little bit more so you're not just listening to me. So the way that this works is we have 2 circuits. We're gonna run through each of the exercises 1 time through, then you'll get a 1-minute break. After that 1-minute break, then we're gonna go straight back into that circuit. We'll do it for a total of 3 times. Then there'll be a completely new circuit. And depending on how tired it is and how we're feeling, we may throw in a little bit of an AMRAP at the end. All right, let's go ahead and get started. You're gonna start with a single arm dumbbell snatch. So again, you can go at your own pace, but the goal is we're gonna try to do 10 of the next couple workouts, and I'll walk you through it if there's any modifications. All right, let's get our workout started here. Just gonna set this up for a little bit of a functional workout. We're going to do a snatch and overhead press. All right, step on the side, we're snatching overhead. Doing that hip hinge, exhale, press up overhead. Good, that's 4, 5. Really want to make sure that we're keeping our ribs nice and stacked as we're coming up over our heads, that we're not thrusting our ribs forward. 2 more here. Good, and last one. And you're gonna go ahead and switch to hands. Same thing, up and over your head. You're snatching that up and then pressing straight up over your head. That's 3, 4, 4 more. Remember to exhale as you come up over your head. Last one here. Good. to lunge to the side and come up. So you're just lunging to the side and straight back. Make sure that as you're doing this, that you're really sitting back into your glutes, so that if I'm doing it from the side here, my knee isn't tracking forward, because that's going to put a lot of pressure on the side there. This is 7, 8, 2 more. Very good. We're going to switch to the opposite side. So holding it with the left hand, going to the right. Good. Really sit back, your glutes open up. Exhale to press your foot off the ground and explode back to that standing position. Last one here. Okay, we're coming down to the ground. I'm going to go ahead and adjust your view here. Coming down to the ground, you're going to start in a plank position. Get your core nice and tight, so take that inhale, exhale, and then you're going to do a renegade row. So we're going to alternate, rowing here, doing our best not to really dip our hips, trying to keep our hips square to the ground. All right, and back down. All right, so you get 1 minute break. I'm going to grab the timer here. We're just going to use the phone. You get 1 minute for your break, and then it's right back to work. So now's the time to get any type of water, any other equipment or things that you need. So real quick, while you're taking your break, if you're currently expecting you can't do that renegade row, or you're dealing with a diastasis, you're still healing, then you're going to do a hip hinge, and you're just going to do regular alternating rows as you do that. If you're further along in your pregnancy and the belly sometimes drags us, you can help yourself out by placing your bottom against the wall, and that'll take some of that pressure off from your abs and from your lower back. All right, so we're going to be starting here again with a single dumbbell snatch with an overhead press. All right, let's get to it. That's our 1 minute. Here we go. We're coming down, snatching, overhead. This is 6. Good, we got one more here. We're going to switch sides, same thing. Snatch, press up overhead. If you don't need to add the little hop, you don't have to. It's completely optional, but for sure if you're dealing with somewhat heavier weights, it does help to kind of get that momentum going, give you that little extra boost. 3 more. Last one. All right, we're doing our lateral lunges. So out to the side and exploding back up. Keeping that opposite leg and foot flat. And we got one more here. Quickly switch over to the opposite side. Same thing. Straight to that lateral lunge, allowing the moving leg to bend versus the opposite leg. Throw that little arm out there for some balance. Let's do 4 more. And 3, 2, last one. All right, let's come on down. for the renegade rows or the bent over rows. Keep your core nice and tight. We're going for 10. Really exhale as you roll up. Trying to keep those abs facing down. Hips squared. One more on the side. All right. 1 minute breather. All right, we got one more circuit of the same exercise, then we're going to move on to the next thing. So the other thing I want you guys to think about is challenging yourselves with the weights. Now, if this is your first time doing the lab workout with me, maybe pick something medium to lighter weights. But if you're doing it again, the same workout, and you know what to expect, I encourage you to pick something heavier. I normally like to work out with something a little heavier, but if I'm talking, that's just not going to happen. So I chose to go with something a little bit lighter today, just so that I can keep my breath up and keep talking throughout the entire workout. All right, let's go ahead and get started with our next one. So we've got the single dumbbell snatch overhead press. Here we go. 3, 2, and 1. So we're snatching, pressing. This is 5. We got 5 more. Let's go ahead and switch to the opposite side. Now, if you're expecting, depending on how big your bump is at this point, I found it useful to put my hand on my belly, just as a reminder for myself of where my baby was at. Because even though I knew that I was pregnant, for whatever reason, my brain didn't want to accept it. So I was always bumping into things, last one here, that I didn't intend to do. All right, we're going to the side for a lateral lunge and squat. So we're here to the side. We got 3 more. 2 and 1. Switch to the opposite side. Straight into it. We'll get that break here in just a minute. Exhale to push off. One more. All right, down on the floor, renegade rows or bent over rows. Ready? Keep your core nice and tight. We're going to go for 10. Last one. All right. Down to our first big break between the circuits. Next thing that we have is I'm going to go ahead and go over the next couple of exercises so you have an idea of what's coming up. And you can adjust your weights as necessary. First one we got is we have an L-sit overhead press. This one's deceivingly difficult. So it's difficult because you don't have the use of your legs. So as you notice, I'm coming down in a weight. You're going to try to sit in a nice, tall L-sit. And from here, you're going straight up over your head. We're really just using your upper half. Next, you're going to grab 2 weights, and you're going to do a tap, and then you're going to come up, driving with that knee. So you're doing a modified version of a single leg Romanian deadlift. All right? And then finally, the last come center, and then reversing back to the opposite side. So just like that, going back and forth. All right, let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to start with that first one, the L sit. So we're doing 10 reps here of the L sit. So sitting nice and tall, keeping the weights to our sides, by our ears. We're going to exhale. Up, down, nice and controlled. Try not to strain your back. Keep your ribs nice and stacked, because we're not just trying to flare our ribs. If you really need it, you can always go up against a wall to give you a little bit of an assist, or put something small, maybe a ball, or be near the couch where you have kind of open range for your shoulders. One more after this, and then coming back up. All right, so we're coming up for our Romanian deadlift single leg. So here we go, on the left leg, kicking back with the right. We're going to kick back, keeping the weights here. We're going to drive up, and then come back down with one. So really trying to put less weight on that kickstand foot. It's really there just to give you that balance. Drive that knee up, press through that heel that's stationary. Two more here. All right, let's go ahead and switch that. So now we're having our right leg down, coming into that kick back, and straight up. Now, if you're expecting, or maybe you feel your balance is a little bit off, then instead of driving your knee up, you're simply going to come up into that standing position and tap your toe. But if not, you're driving that knee up, pressing through that front heel to get the most out of that workout. One more. All right, last one here. You have a kneeling halo. So, you're going to grab one decent sized weight. You're going to go keep your core nice and tight and recruited. Okay? So from here, you're going to go out and around your head to the front. And then you're going to reverse that motion all the way to the front. Keep going. Out and around. And then back to the starting position. Exhale as you make it around your head. It's going to help keep your core in nice and tight. One more on each side. Then you'll give you 1 minute break. Good. All right. First little round there is complete. All right, so 2 more rounds just like that. So again, now's the time. Grab your water, adjust weights, or maybe equipment around you so that you are ready for the next go round. So you already know what's coming, so now you just gotta execute. All right, we got 30 seconds. Really bring that heart rate down, get yourself ready. That L-sit overhead press will also let you know how flexible your hamstrings are. If your knees are popping up, or if you're just really having a hard time staying in that position while pressing your arms overhead, will let you know how strong you really are. All right, I'm going to challenge myself with some 15s here and see if I can knock at the same time. All right, so here we go. 3, 2, and 1. We're going to bring those weights to our side. Our ears, we're pressing up. Forward 1, 2, 3, 4. 3 more. Last one. All right. Coming back up, we're doing our single leg Romanian deadlifts here. So we're going to start with our right leg. We're kicking back, grinding that left knee up. switch legs. So our left leg is staying stationary, we're kicking back, driving up with that right leg. Press down to that left heel. Make sure that you keep your big toe down on that stationary foot. That'll really help to stabilize you and keep that core active and get the most out of your glutes. 2 more here. And last one. All right. Straight into the kneeling halos. So we're going out and around, and then reverse. This is 5. Two more. Nice. All right. Take 1 minute break, and we've got 1 more round to do. And I think at this point, it's safe to say we'll probably have time for that AMRAP at the end. So make sure you don't log off early. All right. Hope you guys are feeling okay. More than okay. I hope you guys are feeling a little bit more energized. When I do the workouts, especially if you're expecting, you want to make sure that you're not burning yourself so much that you feel exhausted at the end. You should actually have a little bit more energy. If you're not expecting, if you're on that postpartum journey, you can really push yourself. No excuses. All right, so 5 more seconds, and we're going to get started with our L-sits here. All right, so let's come on down. We're going to do our L-sits here. So sitting up nice and tall, keeping our legs nice and flat. Moving to your side, we're going for 10. This is 5. Last one. All right, our immediate is coming up, and we're going to do our Romanian deadlifts. So we're going to kick it back, keeping your back nice and flat. Drive up with that knee. Make sure your core is staying nice and tight. Exhale to drive the knee up. Two more. All right, switch legs. Kicking it back, driving up. Three more. Last one. All right, come on down for the halos. Going down and around, and then reverse. That's 4. Remember to exhale as you go out and around. Last one's here, and bring it back. All right. So you got your last little break here, and then what we're going to do is we're going to do a 3-minute AMRAP to finish it off. So AMRAP stands for as many rounds as possible. The good news is there's only 2 exercises that you're going to do. You're going to be doing bear toe tap. So you're going to get up in a bear position where your knees are hovering just above the ground, and then from here you're going to tap back and then bring back to that starting position. So you just stay in that hovering position, tapping your legs back. Make sure that you're keeping your core nice and tight. If you're expecting, or you're healing from still from a diastasis, then you're going to go up to an elevated surface and do like a modified version of a burpee. I'm looking for a chair here, but I don't see one. So we're going to pretend this is one. You're going to step, come up onto your tiptoes. As you come back, you're going to exhale. Keeping those abs nice and tight. And again, you're elevating yourself to the point where you feel safe. Okay, the last one that you're going to be doing is weighted dead bugs. So for this one, you're going to grab the weight and you're going to lay on your back with the weight above your head. As you drop the weight back, you're going to extend one leg. And you're going to be alternating here. Okay? If you are dealing with ab separation, you're going to be in this position and you're going to be tapping your heels down, or you're going to just extend your legs without that overhead weight. Just make sure that there's no coning happening, you don't see any bulging happening at that point. If you're expecting, you're going to pop your legs back, you can do the same thing. You can do this, where you're just kind of supported, or you can even have a ball behind you to support you doing this. If you want to get a little creative, you can do this as well with the ball supported behind you. That way you don't have any extra stress on your abs. All right, let's get started. So I'm going to set a timer for 3 minutes. And we're going to go over those exercises as many rounds as possible. Now, if you get tired and you can't keep up, that's fine. You take a break whenever you need it, and you just hop back in when you're ready. All right, but let's push ourselves. It's 3 minutes, and then we're all done. All right, so here we go. In 3, 2, and 1. So we're doing the bear planks. Both of these are 10 reps for each side. That's 6. One more on each side. Good. You're coming back down. And we're going to be doing our dead bugs with the weight above our heads. And again, we're doing 10. So you're sending that weight back as you exhale. We got 4 more on each side. Really trying to keep your back in contact with the ground as you do this. We've got 1 more. All right, no break. You're straight back to it, to the beginning. So we're back up. We're kicking back. Trying to keep your back nice and flat. Keep your core nice and tight. One more on each side. Okay, next one, we got 1 minute left. We can get in our 10 taps on each leg. Here we go. This is 3. Two more on each side. Last one. Awesome job. We got 10 seconds left. Get as many reps of those bear taps as you can. Don't cheat yourself by finishing early. Alright, that's time. Alright, let's come on down for a quick forward fold. That's not me, so I can choose to grab onto my toes, kind of pull myself up that way. All right, just hanging out here, relaxing those hamstrings. All right, we're going to bring it in into a butterfly sit. Really folding over. You can press down on your knees if you feel like your knees are way up here. All right, we're going to come up onto our knees, the half kneeling position. And from here, you're going to be kind of sit up straight on, or off to the side just a little bit. You're rocking it, so you feel a nice stretch in that groin area here. One more and then we'll switch it. All right, same thing, we're just going off to the side. So we're feeling that nice little groin stretch. One more. All right, one more little stretch here. You're going to get into a plank position. You're going to bring one leg up, back leg stays up. You're going to twist, open, and then you're going to bring that hand or that elbow into your inside elbow. So the point of your elbow into the inside. Good. We're going to do two more here. And last one. All right, we're going to go ahead and switch. Same thing. Rotating. Last one. Right here. Good. All right. I hope you guys enjoyed that workout. Hope you guys can join me in live the next time as well. And make sure to get this workout in a couple more times, and I'm sure you'll be feeling more comfortable with it, and you can really challenge yourselves with the weights. Until next time, take care.